and hello, GTZ Audio again. So this is going to be video number 2, of course. I'm sure I'll have a title for it. This is going to be mainly about the journey of guitar. I kind of feel that, everybody is at their own stage of where they're at, whether they're just beginning, whether they've been playing for a while. Just any place. Maybe that you've never picked up a guitar and you finally decide, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. And so that's kind of what this video is about. And there's just a number of things I want to go over about, as far as that goes, wherever you're at in your stage. So I'm just going to grab my guitar out of its case here. It's been a few days. I love just opening this thing up and just the way it smells. It's one of my favorite things about instrument shops and just the guitar. One of the first things, just that's the strap. Actually, we're trying to smell the inner body here. There we go. See, that's acoustic guitars, acoustic instruments in general. They have their own smell. Electrics have their own smell too. You know. And just so you know, I'm using a different mic this time around. I'm not just using the built-in iPad mics. This is through my Yamaha mixer and a Shure microphone. This is a pretty cheap Shure microphone at that. This is, I think it's called a P48. It's like basically like the entry-level Shure microphone. I do have an Audio-Technica AT2020 that I thought about using, but then I was like, you know what? That thing's just so sensitive and so loud. It was going to pick up way too much in the room here. So just kind of went with the dynamic microphone. That's another thing. It's a dynamic, not a condenser. So it doesn't require phantom power. We can go into all that kind of stuff at some point. But like I said, the journey of guitar, and like I said, everyone's at their own journey. And one of the most important things I feel is comfort. It is important to be comfortable when playing. Generally, I like to always have a strap when playing because it's so uncomfortable just trying to hold the guitar and try to play the guitar and do fretting and chords. And then also there's also different types of straps. Having the right strap is important. When I started out, I had a really thin strap to hold my guitar to me, and that was really uncomfortable. So I definitely found I found that okay, they do have wider straps, and that's better for me. Maybe some kind of thin or wide strap will work better for you. And of course, another thing to mention: there's strap locks. For electric and acoustic guitars, you can there's great things that keep your straps on your guitar. That's another thing you should definitely look into when purchasing your guitar. Definitely get strap and strap locks. They are definitely important things to have. And also the size of your guitar. That's another thing that's so important. A lot of people don't think about that. And the necks, and the different style of bodies that are out there between Fenders and Martins and Gibsons and all these different bodies and brands that are out there. I am playing a Washburn electric acoustic guitar. Oh, for some reason it's not in tune. I swear I just tuned it not that long ago. Yay! Let's see. Let's just tune it by this. There we go. Alright, so years ago, I'd been playing guitar for probably, like 3 or 4 years. And then I went and decided I would take a beginning guitar class. Yes, that's right, a beginner guitar course, and go back to like stage 1. And I felt like there was so much I didn't know. I knew a lot, but I kind of felt like I needed needed a bunch of gaps in my knowledge. There's just things that I felt like I didn't know, and it really helped me a lot. So, at whatever stage you are, it can help to go back and revisit, you know, everything from how to tune. Um, when I learned how to tune, and this is one thing, you learn a standard way to tune guitars is to use the fifth fret of the guitar, and that's because it's an A. Actually, that's not the fifth fret. One, two, three, four, five. There we go, and that's A or fifth fret A tuning. Um, but one thing I learned from the course I took was to do relative tuning, and that's basically you tune, say, you have an E, and then using the notes, because every string has its set of notes, and that's another great thing, you know. So let's just go over that real quick. And of course, fretting. Once again, remember, no strength. You don't need a ton of strength. Just put your hand on the fret. Of course, the frets being these little metal bars. If you're not as familiar with the guitar, just put your finger at the fret. Sometimes it can help just to kind of put your finger and kind of move up to the fret, because you want to kind of really feel that bar. And like I said, you mute it, and then as soon as you press down, that's as much strength as you need. And so that's the F note. And then, of course, half note above that, sharp. And then, of course, G. And so, mainly, we have all those notes. So on the E, you have E open, which is just the string played itself. A lot of times you'll hear people refer to open, and open is just the string played by itself. A lot of people who use tablature refer to that, as open, or whenever they're describing how to play a song. But like I said, okay, let's get back to these notes. So E, F, and G, and then on B you have B, C, and D, and on G, G, A, and B, on D, D, E, F, on A, B, and C, and of course back to the low E, E, F, and G. And it's one thing that's great about learning all these notes, the fact that each string has its additional kind of set of notes for it, is that that's how you can tune relative to each string. So once we have an E, then you can tune on the E string the G. And then of course now we have the G and the E in tune. And now we're going to tune our B. Could use a little A, which is the second fret, A sharp, third, and once again to the B. And we can also pull the string a little bit to, a cool thing, don't be afraid to pull the strings a bit when you're tuning them. This is one thing I learned. You can, just by kind of pulling up a little bit, you're not going to break the string either, just, pull it up a bit, and then that'll help you almost pull it into tune. Alright, and now let's do D, which is from the B note, or the B string. And that's already in tune, so there we go. And then we can do A from the G, and then E from the D, which is the second fret of the D. And I'm going to go over those real quick again, because I know sometimes people, when they do videos visually, they can, you can go back and you can analyze, visually you can look at everything, you being able to see, there's a lot of advantages. You can look at great detail of the way someone's fingers are placed and how their arms look and how they, just so many things are visual. So once again, let's go over way I'm fretting. And another thing is with the way my thumb is placed. Um, it's kind of bent. I have it. I have my hand basically. A lot of people, some people would refer to as classical style, um, but it's basically my thumb kind of goes at the back, and you kind of use the arch because when you say make a fist and where your thumb kind of rests at your knuckle, that's kind of really where you want your thumb to kind of come over on your guitar. So where I'm at, so you want basically you kind of almost want to be able to um, close your hand over the neck of the guitar. If you can close your hand over the neck of the guitar, then it's going to be really comfortable for you to do, for you to fret, for you to form chords. Um, when you can't do that, then it's really hard on any guitar. This is, when choosing any guitar. So, um, but here, let's go to fretting again. And so, once again, I have my fingers bent. This is the index finger, and this is on the F note, fretted, and then this is going to be my third finger, ring finger, on the G, and then I'm going to move up, and I kind of sometimes I'll use my middle finger at first, or sometimes I can just you can just generally use the actual fingers. It just I guess it's really what becomes comfortable. Everybody kind of does it a little differently. There isn't necessarily an ultimate wrong or right way, but it's whatever you find. Sometimes it's just good to have an orientation. A lot of which is generally finger one. Uh, so now for string 2, or B, we have the C and the D, and then on G, G, A, and then B, and then D, D, E, and F, and then of course once again A, B, and C, and that's with my index and middle, or you can play it with the middle and ring, and then as you're moving up, you can do F with your index finger and G with the ring finger. And I'm just going to play back through those really quickly. Actually, let's start over. I didn't hit all the notes. So B, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. There we go. There we are. So, like I said, it's all in becoming comfortable. Um, Another thing with moving throughout strings, um, we lose a lot of energy when switching strings, and you'll learn this as once we get the chords as well. You know, having to just pick your hand up away from each, each note. There's energy that you lose um, when you have to leave the next. So it's always good to kind of find these really cool connections within the notes, within the frets. You know, and another way to make that kind of easy is how much bend you give to your fingers. Um, you can have a really massive bend, like an arch, in a lot of ways. When you're bending your fingers, because normally, you're really wanting the tips, the tips of your fingers to get in on these frets. Any guitar teacher will tell you, you need to use your tips. That is generally the way to go. Though sometimes, a lot of the times, I'm using a little more of the pads of my fingers. I kind of feel that it gives me, I don't know, it's not nearly as much energy as when I'm, having to go on my actual fingertips. And, or like actually, it's kind of a little more of the side of my fingers sometimes. Uh, I guess it just depends on how fast I'm really going. And I notice this the more I analyze my playing in general. Yeah, I can say it as I've started to analyze or just pay more attention as I'm trying to teach here through these videos. I've started to realize more and more things on how I fret the instrument itself and how it's not always on the tips of my fingers. I don't know. I kind of feel like having to do that. Um, I don't know. It's good. It definitely. I mean, you shouldn't be lazy, but then again, you should also do what's. I kind of feel you should do what's comfortable. Like if it's comfortable and it accomplishes what you're trying to do, then go for it. If the pads of your fingers feel a little better as opposed to your fingertips, then yeah, that'll definitely you know that definitely you should do it that way. Also, um, I can say that it changes how you do trills on the pad. You know, or just little hammer-ons. So that's with like the pads of my fingers, and then this here's the index. There's definitely is a difference. There's definitely more surface with the pads of my fingers. All right, and I think that's pretty much it for this video around here today. Hopefully, this has been really helpful. Um, I don't know, maybe it's been too much, you know. But like I said, comfort, ease, you know, all these things I feel are important things to focus on when wanting to learn how to play. You should be comfortable when you play. You should enjoy. You should have a good time. You know, it should be easy. Like I said, it should come this nice and easy kind of time. It's supposed to be relaxing. Your guitar should not drive you nuts. You should want to be able to play. You should, or not. I should say, you should want to play. When you pick up your guitar, you should want to play. You should not go, ugh, this is gonna be so hard. This is just not gonna be fun. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to want to play your guitar, your instrument, whatever instrument. It should be easy to play. Um, I know sometimes that isn't always the trick. I myself, it took me a long time to get to the level, even just with my fingers. And I'll probably cover that too. There's some really great dexterity exercises for your fingers that you can use to improve the flexibility. Because I myself, when I first started playing, I couldn't even bend my fingers separately from each other. I could not, bend my index finger in on my palm without my other fingers coming along. It took me a long time to be able to even do that, let alone, you know, fret chord or make the chords, the formations for the chords. And we'll talk about that in the next video. I think is when I'll start getting into actual chords. Probably mainly power chords, major chords, all of those things will come. I kind of felt like this is just more important to kind of focus on notes and fretting and, like I said, comfort, kind of, some things that anybody can apply to whatever stage of guitar that they're at, and sometimes it just takes some time to realize, nobody knows everything, and even if you think you know everything, there's always something new that you can learn. So, with that, I will end the video today. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this. Like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, catch you in the next one.